Hello, hello, welcome to Awakening with Nina. Today we're going to talk a little bit about mediumship, I was thinking. This little mini series of mine where I talk a little bit about how I work with different things. So today we're going to address mediumship. So if that's something that interests you, then stick around. Okay, so my journey with mediumship has of course lasted for a long time, about 20 years or so. Probably been open to seeing things and spirits long before that, but that's kind of when I started doing my education and started really practicing mediumship. So it's of course a matter of practice. That's the most important thing and the first thing I have to say. And in my opinion, when it comes to mediumship, I think that we should have at least some advice from someone who has done it for a while, or maybe go to a medium, see how they work and kind of learn a little bit more about it before we start doing it ourselves. And it's simply because I feel that mediumship, when you give messages, also psychic readings for that matter, but when we do readings for people, it can be profound information that comes through. And I feel like we have to be certain about what we're doing before we give messages to people. For me, that's kind of the ethical part of it. It has to be genuine. It has to be pure. It has to be real. It has to be authentic. So that's why I would say, please, please, please practice before you start giving readings to people. Okay, so in the beginning, when I started learning mediumship, we started with our eyes closed, and we started with pushing or kind of allowing our energy field to go out. And we, of course, invited whomever in, and we had a sitter in front of us so that the spirit would connect to, it was someone that belonged to the sitter in front of us. And so we closed our eyes and we kind of stretched our feelings out and then just opened up for whatever images or sounds or whatever could come in. And we just said what we got. Even though we thought it was wrong, we said what we got to be able to practice that muscle. And then the sitter would give feedback as to what they recognized or not. And that would help you to reconnect with the right energies, if you will. However, I have to say, and this is something that I was not taught in the beginning, but I wish I was, because sometimes when you open up and you have loved ones coming in, there might be several coming at once, and sometimes they overlap. Okay, they're too close. And if they're too close, you're actually reading two separate energies at once. And so it gets confusing, and the sitter will not recognize it because it was that connects with my grandmother on that side, but that connects with my grandmother on that side. So I'm really not sure which grandmother this is. So the first thing I would do before you start doing mediumship is connect with your team, with your spirit team. And then you ask your spirit team, is there one gatekeeper? Do I have a gatekeeper that can come and help me when I do mediumship? And of course, if you are meant to do mediumship, they will say, yes, you do. You have a gatekeeper. And that gatekeeper, you get to know that gatekeeper. You ask them questions. You develop a relationship. For me, I named my gatekeeper Ilias. And so whenever I do mediumship, I ask Ilias first to come. And then I tell him if there are, first of all, that he is protecting me from energies that will maybe feel yucky to me, or he will kind of be a shield of protection in between, so that if I read an energy that is not on my vibrant energy field, then he will kind of be the filter for that. Also, I ask him to make sure that he separates the energies so that I only read one and one energy at the time. Sometimes I can tell the loved ones that's coming through, if I see or feel like they're coming as one, I can ask them to separate, and they do. They do as you tell them to. So you can say, okay, you two are standing too close. I need one and one at a time, please. Whomever wants to go first. So and also Ilias can, or your gatekeeper can help with that. You can, of course, also ask Archangel Michael to be part of it. And also to, if you are new in the game and you feel that you need protection, then ask Michael to be there. I don't think that there's any energies actually that you need protection from. But if their vibration is extremely high, for instance, and it can feel very heavy on the physical form, on your physical form. And so you can be rattled by it, you can be afraid by it, even though the energy is actually very high frequent. So it's, you know, it's an energy thing, it's a quantum thing, okay? So that's why I say that. But Ilias has then helped me to kind of separate, make sure that one and one. So he says, okay, now you can go, you know, now it's your turn. You can go over to Nina, you know, and stand there and give her the information. So that helps a lot. So I wish I knew that in the beginning, because then it would be easier for me to know that I was just reading one spirit and not 10 at a time. So that was the beginning. So we started by doing that, and it's practice, practice, practice. So you have to be in a situation where you have a sitter that's willing to be kind of a guinea pig and to help you know that you're connecting in the right way, and that you're seeing that you trust what you get. But of course, before you get into doing a mediumship reading at all, you should of course meditate so that your ego is silenced. And that way it will be also easier for you, I believe, to trust what you get. Now, when I do mediumship, you know, you pull your energies out like that. I always get loved ones from spirit for a sitter always comes in on my left. And when it's angels, or when it's light beings or other entities, star family, whatever, they come in on the right or from the back. And when I do psychic readings, I go front into the person, or I send my energy out to whomever needs that reading from me. So you see, you know, but not everybody gets them in on their left. Like Lisa Williams, who was my teacher when I did my mediumship certification, she gets them on the right. And she's mainly audio. I am mainly clairvoyant and clairsentient, but also clairaudient and claircognizant, but that's kind of my two main clairs, if you will. And hers is clairaudient. So she hears spirits. They talk directly to her. So it's very different from medium to medium how we experience it. But normally you get them in from one of the sides, okay? So feel into where that is for you. Now, the first thing that often pops into my head when I do mediumship is I see kind of the figure, the height of the person, and I feel if it is a male or a female. And then I often get details to tell me what age they are when they come through. It can be, you know, the hands, they can show me the pictures of their hands or their color of their hair, you know, stuff like that. Mind you, and this was a trap I very often went into, I thought the first image they gave me, that was the age when they died. No, that's not always so. Because sometimes they will show themselves as they were when they knew that person, that's the sitter, or when they felt like they were their best or most beautiful, I don't know. They can show themselves at different ages. So you have to ask them, you have to interview this spirit, okay? So you have to ask them, is this the way you looked when you died? Is this the age you were when you died? And sometimes they will say, no. And then you're like, okay, can you show me, can you take me to your death? Or they will ask you to convey what you get at that age, because that will be significant for the sitter. There will be something in that the way they show themselves there that will resonate with the sitter. So then you do that. But after you have done that, then you double check. Was this the age you were when you died? No. Okay, can you take me to your death hour? Can you show me? And then they will show you their age and how they died. So you kind of have to ask them questions. You have to interview them in order to get all this information. Because very many mediums will start with, I have a female here. I feel she died at the age of 44 of cancer. Bop, 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 bop. And that might be right. But if they show themselves at the age 44, they died of cancer, but they actually died when they were 88. But the sitter knew them best when they were 44. Do you see? And so you might actually misunderstand and say, okay, I know she died of cancer. She's showing herself at the age of 44. And so I guess she died at the age of 44. And then the sitter will go, well, I knew a person like that, but she didn't die at the age of 44. So no, that can't be her. Right? So that's why you have to make sure that you convey the right things. Okay? So interview spirit, ask them questions all the time. But sometimes spirit will be very like they only want to give out one information, and they will not give you another information until you have said what you got first. So there are many different ways here. So then you just have to convey, but then you don't then start with I think that you died at the age of. You wait with that, okay? And then you just convey what you see, unless that you're 100% certain that the information that's given to you at that moment is exactly the right information regarding their death, and you're supposed to give it. So yeah, this is practice, 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 people. Yeah. What else? Yeah, okay, practice the clears. So if you are one that normally just sees things, then that's great. You keep practicing. But can you practice another clear, kind of work on the muscle on the other clears? So, it will be easier for you if you can use all of them at the same time when you're doing mediumship. So if you're someone who's clairvoyant, can you do a reading for someone and find a guinea pig, a friend or somebody, friend of a friend or whatever, preferably someone who you don't know all the relatives that died, because then you will use your mind and not your gift. And then you do only clear audio, for instance. You discard everything you see, and you're only focused on your ears. You're only focused on why you're here. And that's the way to practice. And the next thing, claircognizant. The next thing is clairsentient. You can ask them to show stuff on your body to make you feel, or you can also actually, if you're working on your clairvoyance, you can ask them to stand a little bit in front of you where you can see them better, and you can ask them to show on their own body what happened. So you can kind of do a scan, if you will, of their body. So there are many ways of practicing and working on one clear. Now there's different ways of teaching this, and there's speed readings that can enhance your vibration. And speed readings can, is where you have two lines of chairs in front facing each other, and then you are given 2 minutes per person. And you're supposed to find a deceased loved one. You're supposed to find their gender. You're supposed to find where they are related to the sitter and what they died from. Okay, and that you have to do it within 2 minutes. So it's kind of like blah, 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 and then the clock or the bell rings, and you have to rise and you jump one seat over. And the reason why they do this in teachings is to raise your vibration, because spirit, when they come in, they are on a very high vibration. They are light beings now, and so their vibration is so much higher than we are in physical form. So as a medium, and actually what medium means is meeting in the middle. So you have to raise your vibrations in order to meet with their vibration and to have a clear communication. And that's why that kind of exercise can actually heighten your vibration a lot in order for you to get up to the vibration you need to be. So there's many different ways of practicing, of doing exercises. Very often when we do mediumship teachings, we start with energetic exercises where we feel energy, we feel auras, or we start with some psychic exercises first, kind of to warm up, and then we step into the mediumship exercises. So, but there's of course many ways of doing it, many different teachers, and you need to find the teacher that you feel more comfortable with, that you feel like you resonate with, okay? So that's important as well. But I do encourage you to do some sort of training before you start doing readings, okay? You don't have to, but then you have to practice on giving readings to people at least, and people that know that you are still training before you start, going out there and announcing that you're a medium. So I would at least encourage you to train quite a bit before you do that, okay? So that was that. If you have any questions, please comment in the comment section and I will address them. If this is a topic that you would like me to talk more about in the live that I'm probably going to do at the end of February, I will announce that later, then please comment in that comment section also, and then I will include that in the live if that's something you would like me to do. So that was all for this video, people. Thank you so much for being part of it. Wishing you a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. Till the next time I see you. Bye.